I was just looking for it, and then Friday, Monday, China stepped in and bought roughly 200 to 300,000 ton of canola. One thing about China is when they buy, it probably wakes up Pakistan and it wakes up Japan and Mexico and these other countries, because it's when India buys pulses. I think that as far as a Western Canadian farmer goes right now, that you got to be probably in the best position that you could be, all things considered. We've got full access to the US market, and we've got pretty much full access to the China market.
Watch China
Yeah.
and what they're going to do. And then boom, we were talking
Yeah.
yesterday. Guess who came into the market and Friday and Monday? Now, Todd was
Yeah.
downplaying that, but they're kind of a big deal. China's kind of a big deal.
They're a little bit of a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one thing, going back to last week, what I was watching for in the month of August is whether China would step in and buy canola. And I was suspicious they would, because China has the AI intelligence and the computer intelligence to analyze. I believe they can analyze crops pretty successfully from the sky. And if they're picking up with however they do that this crop is not quite there, they'll step in and buy in August. And so we were talking about that last week. I was just looking for it, and then Friday, Monday, China kind of stepped in and bought roughly 200 to 300,000 ton of canola. And the one thing about China is when they buy, it probably wakes up Pakistan and it wakes up Japan and Mexico and these other countries, because it's like when India buys pulses, it wakes everybody else up.
Is there any chance China has data access to your cell phone, in which case it would know everything?
Well, there was a reason why the politicians did not take their phones to China.
Apparently, from a 60 Minutes report years ago, I think this was like 5 years ago, they said China has 5,000 data points on everybody in North America right now. So there's probably a lot more. The technology's probably gotten better since then. They probably know very well. So, but Todd, you kind of downplayed the fact that they were buying. You were hesitant yet to really hedge all in on that.
Well, I think time will play out. You can look at all the data you want through satellite. If we get a rain this week, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I had guys that we had a rain in August. We thought the crop was potentially a lot smaller, and the combine started rolling. I had lots of clients saying they harvested way better looking crops that didn't yield near as good. So, that satellite imagery can be a little bit misleading. I think it gives you a good starting point, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what our growers get for yields. And I think Dave and I have a great cross-section across the province of good growers that accurately track their yields, and they give us the honest truth on where their yields are. And from there, we can help them market. Maybe we have to pivot and be bearish. Maybe we have to pivot and be bullish. But it comes down to the data that our growers give us at the end that I think gives us an advantage over, what Stats Canada puts in print, and over, our growers' competitors, which are their neighbors.
And that's why farmers that are consider themselves in the top 1% in the good old benchmarking fashion work with folks like you. I really believe that the best of the best are working with you folks, present company included. How much canola do you have priced? Is it none? Is it 1 to 10? Is it 11 to 20? And more than 20? And how fantastic is it that a year ago we had some nasty tariffs from China? Now we don't. Plus, Dave, we have electric vehicles from China. Am I living in paradise? Is Carney the fearless leader we've been waiting for all these years?
I mean, I won't get into that, I don't think. Thanks for the lead in on that one, Dan.
You won't? I'm giving it to you, man. I'm giving it to you on a silver platter. Run with it.
No
Baton,
doubt.
hand it off.
I will say, I think that I think that, as far as a Western Canadian farmer goes right now, that you got to be probably in the best position that you could be, all things considered. I mean, we've got full access to the US market, and we've got pretty much full access to the China market. Whereas a year ago, both were a threat. And I think moving forward that I think it's less of a concern geopolitically this year for canola. I mean, wheat is a little bit of a different story, but I don't think we're going to go through that as much. If you look at, China probably drew down their stocks this past year, right, with canola, and they'll do that. They'll send a message and, you know, do their tariffs and stuff, but I would think their stocks are quite low. And when you look globally at other competitive vegetable oils that are out there, they're probably looking low too. So it's probably not a year. They've done their thing with the tariffs to send a message. Um, I think we're gonna be okay with that. The All the signals, just ignore whatever Trump tweets, but the signals have always been from the US that they're very welcoming of Canadian canola. The 45Z policy that came out allowing American feedstocks to be in there, they had ample opportunity to kick us out. They kicked out used cooking oil from China. They've tariffed Brazilian tallow from not allowing to come into there, but Canadian canola is still allowed. So I just take them as positive signals. And I think the one thing we can focus now on canola is supply, demand, and weather, and not worry about politics so much. The
Well,
only thing,
yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad that Carney went and kissed and made up with Z because I don't think that's a job you or me would want. Like that's not sort of in our job description. Anyways, continue.
no, that's right. That's right. Uh, Yeah, the only geopolitical thing that could affect, the canola situation is if the US gives small refinery exemptions, more than what was everybody thought, which means less overall demand. And it affects soybeans and canola equally. So it's not just a punishment to canola, but just to the vegetable oil market.
So take a wild guess here. Where folks are at with their canola priced? How many of them have 1 to 10 bushels price, Dave, as a percentage?
65.
Oh, 50.
Oh, 50. 1 to 10, 11 to 12. More than 20. None. Okay. Oh, quite a bit.
Yeah. What does that tell you?